Now for something completely different.
She cooks nothing but chuck wagons, stew, and her name is Minerva. She's the flower of the devoured goats.
Hello, everybody. It's once again time for my favorite show, Aaron Live. Hopefully someday it might be yours as well. Today, of course, is Easter. And of course, folks, Easter is not about chocolate and eggs, which I'll eat chocolate and eggs all day long, every day. But it's about our Savior, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for our sins and rose again 3 days later for our salvation. And that, folks, is what we're celebrating today, or should be celebrating today. If you're not, consider it. Welcome one, welcome all. Look at this wonderful shirt that Andy Smith sent me. Dude, I'm right here. And yet, we can't see him. So is he right there? We'll find out. Maybe today on this very show, we will find the proof that I've been seeking for years, that all of us have been seeking for years, of Bigfoot. But then again, maybe it'll just be some more crappy videos. We'll have to find out. But that's, of course, later in the show. Let's welcome everybody if we can. Let's see here. Past Master Dan is here. He says, Nick Cardy, sweet. I think Past Master Dan was bugging me last week about, what about Nick Cardy? I said, just be patient. He's coming. And sure enough, here he is. Helder 6480 is here. Creative Face says, Happy Easter. Did you have a good service? It was very good service. Thank you. Of course, he's talking about the church service this morning. Stealth X5 is here. Leg Kick is here because Leg Kick is almost always here. Let's see here. Repairman Jack. He says, I wish my phone didn't suck so I could chat during the shows. Well, you know, phone suckage is something we all have to deal with. Iodine 74. Michelle Bowers is here. Michelle, thanks for joining us. Andy Dowliff is joining us. Marcus, Killer Group, purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge. Brian Suddenly Old. Aviator Surge is here, wishing us a happy Easter. And back to you. Gen X Catholic says, Christ is risen and he is king indeed. He is risen indeed. Ella Campbell, happy Easter. And thank you, Ella. Same to you. A friend of my daughter's who actually will be coming back from school with her to visit. So Ella will be in the house, as they say, in about 10 days or so. So we look forward to that because my yard needs weeds pulled and I'm putting these girls to work the minute they walk in the door. Yeah, that'll happen. Mark Pengren is here. Happy Easter to you and your family, Aaron. Thank you, Mark. Same to you. Lord Hinson Comic Skater. Happy Resurrection Day. Indeed it is. That's what we should be calling it. Get the emphasis off the Easter bunny although we can keep the emphasis on Cadbury eggs and Reese's chocolate peanut butter eggs. But other than that, it should be all about resurrection in Jesus. So just saying. Maromi is here. Let's see here. Josh Olive. How about that? I haven't seen Josh in a while. Just picked up the second appearance of Black Manta in Aquaman with an awesome Cardy cover. Love it. How about that? Welcome, Josh. I don't know, Josh, if you've been visiting us and just have not chatted, or if you haven't been back in a while, but welcome anyway. Randy Howell, all the way from Canada. Let's see. Iodine 74 says, that's right. I'm actually on time this week. Seem to have a problem with that on Wednesday lately. Well, he's referring, of course, to Graybeard Studio, my Wednesday draw stream, which really doesn't kick into gear till at least 30 minutes into the show anyway. So, I mean, if you're there for the conversation and the quick wit with the chat, that happens in the first 30 minutes. If you're there for the art, usually happens after that. Well, it always happens after that, but usually about 30 minutes after that. Senor Goon is here. He says, how can I think about Easter when I see you have my favorite Savage Sword cover back there on my spinner rack? He's referring to the one right over me shoulder there. You see that Doc Savage right there? You barely see that Doc Savage right there. That's a werewolf cover, but there's a Savage Sword right there. Has a great Buscema story in it. That must be. I'd have to go look real quick, but that's the only reason I'd have it. So, Shadowhawk Talks is here. I haven't seen him in a while either. Thanks for joining us. Toxic Dust 13, Major Corn Dog. Forget Bigfoot. Where's Kelsey on Graybirds? Now that would be a sighting. Indeed, it would. I just sent him an Instagram message a couple days ago. I said, Kelsey, where are you? No response. Caleb Reynolds. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Do we got her? That's everybody. Okay. It says down here at the bottom, it says, can't post comments to some destinations. What does that even mean? I don't know. I don't know what it means. But here we are. The Don is here. How about that? Of course, that's Don Draw's stuff. Of course, he did the back cover to Wraith of God #1. How about that? All right. So I've got a humongous show for you guys today. It's ginormously huge. But one of the things we have to do before we get starting is some public service. That's right. Frankenstein never goes out of style, no matter what season it is. You guys hit that like and subscribe. Tell your friends, for crying out loud. Do you realize I don't even have 5,000 subs? It's embarrassing. I watch various YouTube shows, or I should say I listen to them while I'm drawing, and they all have like 100,000, 200,000, 1 million subscribers. I've got like a little over 4,000. Come on, man. This show is worth at least 10,000 subscribers, isn't it? And we're only 6,000 away. I will die of old age before we get to 10K at this rate. Help me out, like and subscribe, because that's what you're supposed to do when you're watching free garbage like this on YouTube. Okay. Does everybody feel better? I don't know that I do, but I know it will make me feel better.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right. It's not going to be a shock to anybody that, once again, I was at Trader Joe's. These are like chocolate frosting in them. I mean, these are probably not good for me. Probably. Definitely not good for you, but foil wrapping here. Look at these things. These are monstrous. So good, y'all. And only like $3.99 for the can. I mean, come on. You can't go wrong with that. Look at this. Look at this. Now, despite the fact that Andy did send me this shirt, it's a nice Bigfoot shirt here, doing him right here. He's nearly caught up with me. I used to have like 1,000 more subs than he did. Now I have like 15 more. It's outrageous. I have the most popular draw stream on the interwebs. We have this show, which, yeah, it is what it is. And then we do the professionals. Where's the love? Gosh darn it. Like and subscribe. It's good. But it's not good for you. Never. What is kale anyway? Like, let it. It's like clockwork. You can set your clock to my dog barking on the Sunday show. Unbelievable. But getting back to kale, lettuce wasn't good enough. It's like cabbage. You know? Now, I like sauerkraut. That's cabbage, right? But I'm not going to eat cabbage leaves. I'll eat lettuce. Spinach is okay. Kale? Come on, man. James says you need to bring back Comic Art Convo with me. That will get you those subs. Yeah, we did it for over like a year and a half, and it didn't help either one of us. Okay, I'm not sure. What does this mean? Is the same book with those three guys that you drew or a different one? Are you talking to me or somebody else, Chris? Because I don't know what that means. Well, yeah, sauerkraut. Well, you couldn't have a Reuben sandwich without sauerkraut. Reuben sandwich is like, that is my go-to sandwich. Now, there's good Reubens and there's not so good Reubens, for sure. But whenever I go and travel, if I come to a restaurant that has a Reuben sandwich, like in a different city or someplace, I'll try it because I'm always on the quest for the best Reuben sandwich. The best Reuben sandwich I ever had was right here in Portland, which is ridiculous, but it's true. But I've had them in New York. I've had them in Chicago. Everywhere I've been, I've had a Reuben. So, Marcus Killigrew taking shots at me, saying Graybeard's maybe the most popular draw stream, but is it the best? I say name. It's the studio. There you go with see, Marcus puts this up here to get under my skin. So then I show it. And what is it? It's free advertising for his draw stream, which it looks like Dawn Draws Stuff hosts that. So there you go. As long as it's not on the same time ours is, I'm all for it. There you go. Oi. No, Ovi Oive says, meat, veggies, fruit, get rid of the rest, and you're good. Yeah, but what is it about carbohydrates that we love so much, and it's so not good for us? It's like sugar, I guess, right? Shadowhawk Talks knows, says Reuben is a great sandwich. Best Reuben I've had. There's a place called the Buffalo Gap down on John's Landing in Portland. And John's Landing is like this little township area near the river. And they have a fantastic Reuben sandwich. At least they did back in the day. When I say back in the day, back when I was traveling a ton, going to shows, going to New York, LA, all over the place, doing stuff comic related. I haven't had a Reuben there in probably 15 years, but at the time I had it there, it was the best. So there you go. Beatty's telling me I have to go full carnivore. And, you know, I have tried that. Like I managed to do it for 2 weeks and I did lose weight. I need to lose weight again. I mean, I'm not like obese or anything, but I'm out of shape and I need to get back in shape. And I'm seriously, I was going to do it, just go like full keto, which is essentially, the carnivore diet, eggs, cheese, and meat. Bring it on, baby. But we've been traveling. Last week, we went to my daughter's last dance performance at college. And then tomorrow we leave. We have to drive down to Phoenix for her commencement graduation ceremony, right? On Thursday. Then we have to load up all of her crap. And then we have to drive it back. So I won't be back for a week. You're not supposed to advertise that stuff, but there will be people at my house. So, don't try and break in because there will be people here. It just won't be me or my wife. And so, but anyway, so we'll be gone for, 8 days. We're going to be on the road. And it's like, when I get back, man, I am going back to the gym. And here's what I'm telling a guy. I used to work out. I worked out relentlessly till I was like in my 40s. The last 15 years have been pretty shaky. But up to that point, I was a pretty healthy guy, always in shape. And I've just disgusted myself. Let's be honest. So I got to get, I think Beatty's right. I got to get on that meat diet and get straightened out, for crying out loud. Jeff Potts says, whenever I have a table at a con, I always eat a big protein heavy breakfast. It keeps me full throughout most of the day. I'm a big omelet guy. I don't, whenever you take your kids out, and kids, they can be still in their 20s, right? You take your kids out they're always going to order like waffles and pancakes with strawberries and whipped cream. It's basically this big dessert tray. That doesn't do anything for me anymore. It's like, I always get like the heartiest omelet I can get, throwing in mushrooms and sausage and, tomatoes. I'll go with tomatoes. I like tomatoes, but I just, I gotta have, like Jeff's saying, I gotta have a hearty breakfast. Okay. Beatty's, eggs, bacon, sausage, and black coffee. I don't drink coffee except when I'm at San Diego. Well, I don't even do that anymore, but I used to at Comic-Con at San Diego because we'd stay up all night doing sketches, and I don't do sketches in my room anymore. If I can do them at the show, fine, but that's the only time I'm working on them. When I realized I was sitting in my hotel room trying to do a sketch and I couldn't see because the lighting was so bad and my vision was so bad, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done with this. But I'd be so tired. I'd actually drink black coffee in the morning to kind of wake myself up, but I'm not a coffee guy. I've never been. So, says the guy who's always eating brownies in front of us. I'm telling you, I admit I've got a problem. I mean, I'm admitting it freely. I've got issues, and but I've got to get over these issues. I'm not getting any younger. Before you know it, I'll be as old as Beatty, and then it's all over. So I've got to get myself back in shape before that happens. All right, let's take a look at Frazetta, shall we? And then move on from there. Here we go. Frazetta of the day. You know, the great thing about that piece is if you look at the princess's feet and the fighting man of Mars's feet, they're just blobs. Frazetta would like, focus on what he wanted you to look at, and everything else just kind of blah. Another great piece by Frank. Fighting Man of Mars actually doesn't feature John Carter. It's a different guy whose name I can't remember. I'm sure some of you guys in the chat probably know. But I think he was in World War I fighting, and then he had read about the exploits of John Carter and wished it could be true and blah blah blah. And there he is on the battlefield, I think dying or whatever. And then he transforms and goes to Mars and becomes the fighting man of Mars. So anyway, it wasn't just all John Carter and Deja Thoris. It was this guy too. And there was another dude in the was it Gods of Mars? No, not Gods of Mars, but the Mastermind of Mars was a different guy. That's my least favorite Mars book, but I had an art collector friend of mine commissioned me to do a piece, and that was his favorite book. So I had to read the whole thing and then do a piece. And it was okay, but it wasn't as good as some of the other ones. Stealth X5 for $2 says hello. Thank you, Stealth. Appreciate that very much, as always. There you go, Randy Hell, all from Kedron. Tom Hadron. That's right. Tom Hadron. World War I, right? Wasn't he fighting in World War I and then he went to Mars? I believe so. Okay. Captain Vippo says his name was Kelsey. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all, actually. I think you're lying, trying to get us off track, which it doesn't take much on this show. Okay, so one of the things that is unique about this show, not really, that's a complete lie, is that I have paid sponsorship on this show. And the amazing thing is the paid sponsor is me. We're still waiting for that Taco Bell contract to come in, but hasn't yet. So let's take a moment here and take a look at the sponsor of the show, which, of course, again, is me. Wraith of God, Fear Hollow is a graphic novel, the third in a series that I have a live campaign for right now. We are past the halfway mark. I am like battling with Graham Nolan. He's like 2 or 3 pages ahead of me. Now, I don't know if he's going full 64 pages or not, which I am. So it may not be a fair race. But anyway, we're over halfway, which is exciting. And in this installment, Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow, the Wraith and Esther face off against the Headless Horseman. This is a scary tale of adventure, and I think you'll really, really dig it. It's got more information about the Wraith and his background, a little bit of, early origin stuff. And in case you're wondering who the Wraith is the best described in an elevator pitch of Batman of the Old West. Travels around. He has this wagon, which serves as his bat cave, if you will. Master of disguise, illusion, combat, all these great things. And he has an Alfred that travels with him, and that is Esther, who is a former Salvation Army worker that he tricked really into becoming his partner. So they have a relationship problem that they're working through. And as they go along the Old West and fight monsters, the Wraith believes he's on a mission from God, but we don't know for sure if God actually spoke to him or if he was just drunk and envisioned that. So these are one of the mysteries, subtext mysteries that go along with the main story every time we do an issue. So good, fun stuff. They are not, John. I only print in the U.S. Using Jostens. I found that their printing is very high quality, and the price is very, very close to what the Chinese printers are offering. And when you factor in the shipping, which is literally on a slow boat from China, it's better just to use Jostens. The problem with Jostens is they print all the yearbooks in the United States. And so there's like certain months where you just can't get in. So it has to be after June or before like March or February or something. So, there is that, but yeah. Okay. So we have 4 cover options here. This is cover number 1. This is the basic cover, the little pumpkin action there. You got the EC variant, if you will. EC homage cover. The 1972 Marvel box variant cover. I love that yellow. This has become my favorite cover. And then, of course, the great painted cover by Chris Stevens. Wonderful piece of work here. So there's 4 cover options. If I were you, I'd get all 4, quite frankly. But here's a little bit on the inside. You don't have to do that. You can just get, 1 cover. This is some of the interior artwork. There's there's so many bad guys in this issue. It's incredible. That's the witch. That's a guy calls himself the Master. And then, of course, the Headless Horseman is in this as well. There's our buddy the Wraith on his kick butt black stallion thing he's riding there. David Williams was supposed to be doing a backup story in this. If we get to 100K, which I thought would have been a piece of cake. I figured we're going to hit 100K, no problem, considering what the previous campaigns have done. However, this one isn't doing that. So I don't know if we're going to get to 100K or not. But tell your friends, back as often as you can. And maybe we'll get to 100 and still get to see that incredible David Williams backup story. Stretch goals or trading cards and David's backup stories. So we're knocking on the door of 80,000, which will unleash the Trunk trading card. Trunk, of course, is the elephant character from the nightclub. If you don't know what the nightclub is, you probably should get Wraith of God Blood Hunters, which is Wraith of God number 2. And you'll find a nightclub backup story along with a Kit Carter and Garbage Man backup stories in that. That's over 100-page book, graphic novel. It's well worth the dollars spent to get it. You can get this signed and numbered limited edition Warrior Nouveau print. You can get Wraith of God Roughs Volume 3. This is like it's a booklet. It's a smaller, ash can sized booklet. 48 pages though of layouts for the graphic novels. You can kind of see the process. And these are all come signed and numbered. There's not going to be hardly any extras at all. So if you want one of these, you better order it while the campaign's live. You can get a shot glass. We have 6 of these in a series so far. 4 of them have been produced. Wraith of God, Garbage Man, Kit Carter, and now the Nightclub. You can get these commemorative poker chips featuring the Wraith, Esther, and Keown's Werewolf. These are the thick kind of clay poker chips that, that the real serious gamblers use. And then, of course, like I said, the back issues, there's Wraith of God 1, the second printing with the new cover. And then, of course, Wraith of God 2 with the award-winning wraparound cover by me. And so those are available on the campaign. These are also available on my website. You can get them right away through my website. Here you have to wait till the campaign's fulfilled, but they're a little bit cheaper on the campaign page than they are on my website. So it depends on what's important to you. This is some of the original art that was for sale in the campaign. All of it's gone except for this Lord Menace original art for the Lord Menace trading card from the Kit Carter campaign. And also Mr. Midnight from the Nightclub. This original art, which was used for the trading card on the Kit Carter campaign. So these are the 2 pieces, I think, of original art I have left for sale on this campaign. So you guys check it out. You will find a link in the description of this video that will take you right to this campaign. Back it if you haven't done so. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and I've got plenty of them. So help a fella out and promote that campaign if you would. Also, I want to remind everybody that I do have a website that is fully loaded with goodness. And You can back Wraith of God Fear Hollow through my campaign or through my website right here. That's aaronlopresti.com. Incredibly easy to find if you can spell my name. We have a store feature which features items for sale. If you want to know what's going on in Empire Comics, you go to this page right here. Or if you just want to look at artwork, you go to the portfolio. So all these options, we're going to take a quick gander, if you will, at the store. Welcome to the official Aaron Lopresti web store. It's official, folks. I approved it. This is the page that comes up, but don't be fooled. This is not all that's there. I've had people go, well, I can't find this or that. And you're like, okay, well, you go up here to this little store thing and it's got a pull down menu. So you can do all products, prints, books, merchandise. So if you hit all products, it's got original art and everything. But you can say, here's all the books we have for sale, which is a lot. Here's the prints we have for sale, which are a few, including the, still get that Planet Doom movie poster, still available. You can get some merch. Got my beanies and some shot glasses if you missed them. More will be added to this merchandise part when I get around to it. And then, of course, we got the art for sale. These are all the covers that are there for sale. We got 2 pages worth of covers. Fun stuff. We got some pages. Kit Carter pages, Justice League pages, Swamp Thing pages. More pages coming up when I can get a chance to do it. And of course, I keep posting like sketches that I do. And we got pages and pages of these babies. Well, okay, 2 pages. So lots of good fun stuff there. And also illustrations, which are, you know, got some paintings on there, some finished stuff. So there you go, folks. Be sure to visit the website for all your Aaron Lopresti artistic needs. Again, a link is in the description of this video. Take you right there. Thank you so much. That is your commercial announcement for today's show. Leg Kick for $10. Thank you, Leg Kick. Appreciate it very much. I will be there first to donate to Aaron's diet fund. Thank you. I need money for meat products, apparently. Low press tea. Get it, John? I don't have any shirts up. I only have a few shirts left over. And I know, I keep promising I'm putting up more shirts on the campaign page, and I haven't done it yet. But it's because I keep going over the drawing table and going, you know, maybe I should draw the book. And then I don't do the other stuff because I'm drawing the book. But anyway. Hey, Crispy Garlic is here. How about that? Spaceman joining us. Thank you, Space James Murphy. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you guys. All right. So that's the show. Thanks for joining me. No, I'm kidding. Of course, we got so much. All right. So I wanted to have a brief conversation with myself. You guys can certainly chime in because everybody has an opinion on this. But I saw a guy posted a video on, you know, why, in his opinion, comic book conventions are dying. And some of the reasoning he gave, I was like, no, that's not right. No, I don't think that's right. Like one of the things he said was that dealers were charging too much for comic books at comic book shows. Which is always the case because they've got a table or a booth they've paid for. So, but you just wait till Sunday afternoon rolls around and those guys are usually willing to make a deal. And so I don't really think that what people are charging for books at a show is contributing to either the success or failure of comic shows. In fact, I wouldn't even go as far to say that comic shows are dying. They are in their pure form, of course. In fact, you could argue they're pretty much already dead. And that's a comic book convention that is simply about comic books and comic book artists and writers. And that's it. No one does those shows anymore except for the smaller venues, right? you've always got multimedia conventions now. They're being driven by celebrity guests, and that brings in your big crowds. And so the people that are running comic book shows, that, you know, it's a business, right? There's not this purist. There's a few out there that do just comic book shows. I want to say Terry from Terry's Comics does a show in Southern California called California. I think it's the California Comic Book Show. And it's so, oh God, I went there once. Was it 1 or 2 days? I kind of feel like it had been 2 days, but it was just all dealers, comic book dealers. And then he had a few artist, writer guests, right? And me being the collector that I am, it was just like heaven, because I would make some money at my table, then I'd run out on the floor and buy stuff. Because he had like some really good dealers there. I would love to see shows that are just comic books and comic book artists, because I don't really care that much about the movie stuff. I mean, I do to a certain degree, but I don't care about, you know, going to Hall H in San Diego and, you know, seeing the movie stars and having them talk about, you know, the latest Marvel movie or DC movie. I don't, you know, it doesn't really do anything for me. But, you know, I do like comic related stuff like models and toys. If you can put all that into a comic book show, then I think you've got something. But the problem is you're going to have a limited engagement, because there's only so many people that are reading comics and only so many people that are interested in going to a show that's just about comic books. And these people, like I said, they're running the shows. They're in it for the money. Of course, why wouldn't they be there? Like I said, it's not a nonprofit. Okay. So, and the way to bring in people is to bring in movie stars and TV stars. And then suddenly you go from having maybe 10,000 people at your comic book show to 100,000 people at your multimedia event. And so that's just what they've become. And it's frustrating when you're a purist like me, and all you want to do is, you know, buy old comics and movie posters and things like that. But there are smaller shows that fit that need. And I think it's just the bigger ones that are sort of lost in all of this multimedia event type thing, like New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con. The smallest amount of stuff you'll find at those shows is actually comics and comic related. You know, but there are smaller 1 day and 2 day shows all over the place. There's still pretty good shows if you're just there looking for comics or comic related stuff. Marcus Killigrew. Now, I don't know. I haven't been to Heroes Con in really a long time, so I don't know if they do the celebrity thing or not now, but it used to be just pure comics. And it was one of the best pure comic shows around. Now, San Diego used to be a pure comic show, right? Back in the 80s and up until the late 80s. And then they moved into the big convention center from, I guess it was the Civic Center. And they were getting 40 to 60,000 people for the San Diego Comic Show when it was still just a comic book show. The great thing about that San Diego was when it was in the Civic Center or whatever it was called, they had like this hallway, and on one side they had these rooms, and they were all like publishers. So you had Marvel, DC, Comico, First, all the publishers and representatives there that would look at portfolios, and people could meet them and all that kind of stuff, right? Then on the other side, they had all the dealers, which were comic book dealers, and there was stuff that was comic related, movie posters, things like that, but tons of comic book dealers. And then they had Artist Alley back there as well. And so it was, and they were getting between 40 and 60,000, but then they went to the big convention center, and over the years used, you know, a third of the convention center, 2/3, and finally all of it by increasing the Hollywood presence and the celebrity presence. And so now you go to a big show and it's going to be all about the celebs, but you find the ones that still attract good comic book dealers if you're into that, or have good comic book guests. And, you know, they're there for you. So are they dying? I don't think so. I think but the pure comic book shows probably are more of a dinosaur than they ever have been. So there you go. That's my take on all of it. John Beatty says, no celebs, etc. Comics and creators. I agree. That's what I want, but find one. I mean, I'm going to a show in New Mexico. I've never been there before, and it's a smaller show, so I'm assuming it's all comics. We'll find out. SummerCon is Geek Avengers asking me about SummerCon in Puyallup, Washington. That is not just a comic book show. It's a multimedia show, but they do have some good comic book dealers. So yeah, I would go if they'll invite me. I sent them I tried to invite myself. I haven't heard back from them. So, you know, I'm trying, but I have not heard back. So what can I tell you? There you go. There's Beatty. He went to SummerCon. Was I there in 2023? I don't know if I was or not. I was there last year. I don't think I was there in 2023. Daryl Wayne. I don't believe they're dying. No, I don't think they are. He's losing it. What? What are you talking about? I'm sharp as a tack. Okay. No, everybody's telling me, no, Aaron, you weren't there in 2023. Okay, well, you know. I am, you know, I'm not really caught in a Portland vacuum, John, because I want to get out of the Portland vacuum. I don't even go to the Rose City Comic Con anymore because it's a terrible comic book show. It's a good multimedia event type show, but I don't know that it's a great comic book show. There's a few dealers there, but not a great deal. There's artists there for sure, but it's not ever been really a good money show for me, except one year, the year after COVID, when everything had shut down for 2 years. It was a great year. But after that, and so I didn't go last year, and I don't know if I'll be going this year. So I'd much rather go to SummerCon. They have a really good green room where you can go in and they feed you really well. And that, to me, it's all about the food. So, oh, wait a minute. I was doing Heroes Con before it was a convention. Well, what was it before it was a convention, John? I mean, when you talk about like it was a show rather than just a big convention, I used to go there and they do the live art auction, you know, and Adam Hughes would be up there doing a painting or something. And I was just like, oh, it's cool. But I don't like traveling anymore. So Creative Phase, right. I want to go just to meet Don Bluth. Don Bluth is going to be at SummerCon. So I would like to meet Don. And he is freaking old. He's like 92 or something like that. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, okay. That's my opinion on Comic Cons, which really isn't much of an opinion at all when you think about it. But I really felt saying that people are charging too much for the comic books was sort of like missing the point. There's a grander issue of why the popularity of comic books is waning, which could obviously affect long-term comic book shows, but that's a whole nother discussion. So, okay. I think what I want to do now is take a look at this. CM Dudash, C. Michael Dudash. He goes by many names. I think we've done him on the show before, but because it's Easter, I wanted to take a look at his Christian art, which is really quite good. But in case you're wondering about CM Dudash, who is that? He's probably best known for this movie poster right there, which I actually own. This is a great movie poster. Simple and yet brutally effective. Look at that. So yeah, he was a commercial artist, movie poster artist, and excuse me. Here's what he says. He says over on his own website, you can go to see Michael Dudash. It's cmdudash.com. Over the years, many clients and contacts have inquired about the meaning of the cross at the end of my signature. Having met the Lord 46 years ago, I wanted to make a statement about my faith as a born-again Christian, and this is what I decided upon. As the years have gone by, the subject matter of my artwork has been centered more and more on Christian themes through the use of Christian publishing and painting, and I'm thankful for having the opportunity to use my abilities to spread the gospel. Of course, gospel means the good news, and that is the good news of Jesus Christ died and resurrected for our sins. So there you go. Now, he was born and raised in Mankato, Minnesota. His first passion in life was always art, followed by a serious interest in music. Now, after high school and a brief year of college as an art major, he quit school to give a career as a musician some serious thought. Sounds like Art to Bear. After 6 years in the music business, he decided to return to his art and briefly attended the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. He was offered a job as a staff illustrator by a local art director and began working full-time in the field of illustration. So after a year, Michael relocated with his wife, Valerie, to the Green Mountains of her native Vermont. In 1977, he opened his first studio and began his full-time career as a freelance artist and oil painter, working through agents in New York City. Now, like most really good commercial artists, they get sick of doing commercial art after a while, and they move on to other things. And CM Dudash was no different as he moved into, sorry about the resolution on that, he moved into Western painting, fine arts, and did some really nice work, as you can see here. Look at this one. He has a really nice texture to his work. You know, it's not overly slick. There is some painterly vibe to it. You can feel sort of the paint a little bit, and I do enjoy that in my oil painters. But I'm a big fan of guys like James Bama and realists too. But I do like this kind of idea that says, no, you're not looking at a photograph, you're looking at a painting. And I'm just amazed at how many great illustrators just went into Western art. But it's funny, the older you get, the more interesting Western art is. I don't know what it is, but it's true. But being a Christian, he went in and started doing fine arts in the Christian realm, and that's really what I wanted to take a look at here. This is a nice little painting of Jesus. Again, you can see the texture in the rocks and just the nice color, but the subtle color back here. So our focus is on Christ right here in that white robe, but you have all this nice detail here, but he hasn't knocked back. Understanding depth and focus. And this is really good. And the fact that Christ isn't centered, he's over to the left, and you've got all this motion coming down like this. It's just a really well thought out piece right there. Here's another piece. I like this kind of glowing angelic being back there. I guess would be an angel, right? But again, look at the texture. all through here. The colors are just really, really nice. This is beautiful right here. Look at that. So you've got Christ up here at the top, a couple of angels, it looks like there. But look at this landscape. And you have this guy down here, which I didn't even notice at first. It almost feels like Maxfield Parrish a little bit, doesn't it? With this kind of really vibrant color work. Really, really nice stuff. Let's read a little bit more about CM here. Although he has always been equally adept at masterfully handling landscapes, figures, portraits, and still lifes, Michael quickly found that painting the characters and history of the Old West especially excited him. And for the last 21 years, this has been his singular focus. He says the subject of the great American frontier is something that I never grow tired of bringing to life in my paintings. I love the history, the characters, the costuming, the critters, and the landscapes, and the ample opportunities that exist to tell a great story. The themes that permeate Western art also feel like home to me: faith, family, friends, self-reliance, and hard work, just to name a few. It's all there for me, and I'm eternally grateful that I can make a living doing what I love. Then it just talks about him, different galleries and stuff that he's exhibited at. The lighting on this is so nice. Look at this. This young girl praying here. She has her Bible open. Look at the color back here. And yet it's all kind of hazy, like she's kind of in this glow from this afternoon sunlight coming in. Or maybe early morning sunlight. But anyway, either. Just again, the use of color. Look how he brings the greens and these kind of oranges and blues into her white dress that we're getting back here in the background. And you see a little bit of that in her hair and shadow here, right, as well. Now, I contacted Michael about 10 years ago and was talking to him about bringing him out to Portland to do a workshop, a weekend, workshop. And I had guys, other professionals in the area. Val Mayrick was still here, and Terry Dodson and a few other guys. And, I set it up, got how much it would cost, each of us. And it would have been probably about, I don't know, 500. No, it wasn't that much. It was like 300 and something a piece for us to, might have been 350 somewhere. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, so we had a group of, I think, 6 guys or whatever. We were going to do this, and we were going to bring him out and have him do a seminar just for us. Right. And then of course is when it gets down to crunch time and I got to start collecting the money, everybody bailed out on me. And so then I got to call Michael Dudash back and go, the whole thing fell through. Sorry. And I was kind of embarrassed, but I did talk to him. Really nice guy though. And this was when he was still, I think, in, I want to say he was in Pennsylvania at the time, and he was just getting ready to move to Idaho, and that's where he's at now. But look at this painting of the 3 wise men. Really nice work. Comic Crusader says, thanks for the live stream today. Hey, thank you for joining me, man. No, it's Dudash, John. Dudash, not DoorDash. John's ripping on my my artist here. Of course, he's talking about this piece right here. Let's go back and take a look at this. I think this is what he's talking about. I mean, yeah, Jesus is giant compared to the size of this guy, as far away as he is. But that may be part of what he's going for, in that this isn't meant to be a literal guy walking down the valley and he sees Jesus. It's like this would be probably Christ in a spiritual representation, so he could be larger. But I get what you're saying. You would think that this guy down here would be bigger, much bigger, like his head would be right here and his shoulder there, kind of thing. But I'm not going to criticize someone who's better than me, John. But yeah. Anyway, this is another one. This is Jesus sitting around with his disciples. Let's take a look here. So you've got, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is sort of a yellow-purple complementary. You got your purple back here, obviously, for your nighttime sky. You've got the yellow of the fire here. And then, of course, your muted reds in here, which are more like kind of burnt orange. But again, really nice use of lighting and color here. Of course, these guys are all sort of bluish purple in the foreground. And they become framing devices for really where your focus is right here. You can stretch it around here, but really we're looking right here first, and it kind of spreads out along here to these guys. Again, a really nice piece. These are complex paintings when you have this many characters involved. You know, I'm just like, that's a lot of work. That's why I start getting fatigued when I look at this and go, oh, I don't want to draw all those people. But another really nice piece. And we will end on the resurrection. How about that? So you got a couple of angels here, it appears, and then Jesus coming out of the tomb. Again, I like this texture that he's got going here. And I love this, the look of that, the white robe and everything. One thing that does bother me about contemporary painters, a lot of them, is I think this guy, if he had a model for Jesus, I think that works really, really well. These guys, they look too much like guys with mullets, you know. I'd like to see guys come in and stylize the faces a little bit more, so they look more than human. But I know a lot of guys, almost everybody in commercial art uses models, and then they, you know, I mean, that's a great looking face, but it looks like my neighbor. It doesn't look like, I would want something, I don't know, more grander for an angel. But again, who am I to see? John Beatty's wearing off on me already. He's influencing me to critique people, but especially good people. But anyway, really nice, great lighting effect. And guy sells more paintings than I do by a long shot. And I do really love his stuff, but I thought it was important on this Easter to take a look at some Christian art. Beatty. Oh, I bet I could get Rubenstein on there. You're right. He does anything for promotion. That guy is, I went to dinner with him one time at somebody's house, and he was, I don't know, how should we say, pushing work instead of just, I don't know. There's certain guys that are always like looking for their next job kind of thing. We've actually done Blackshear on this show. I love that guy. Thomas Blackshear guy's amazing. Now they have this Christian painters workshop that they do in Oregon every year. And he was one of the guest teachers, like this a couple of years ago. And for some reason I couldn't make it. I was so ticked. Probably never get to meet the guy again, but that would have been amazing. You go there on this ranch and you stay for a week, and he'd just take painting seminars and from these like brilliant painters. But yeah, I had a chance. Blackshear was there and I was unable to make it. Tremendous. Okay. So anyway, let's veer off art for a moment if we could. And let's get into one of my hangups. It's a personal problem that I have, and I can't seem to get around it. So I'm just going to work through it like if I was Alcoholics Anonymous, but for comic books. So here we go. Yes. Speaking of comic book shows, I went to the Mid-Valley Comic Art Expo in Salem, Oregon 2 weeks ago. Now, this started off as a really, really tiny show, and I think it's in its fourth year. Now, I didn't set up because I've gone 2 years, and I'm just kind of waiting for it to get bigger and have more people actually go to the show. But I went this year as a fan with my son, and it was actually pretty good size. They had more dealers there, a lot of, it's growing. So I actually was able to purchase a couple of things while I was there. Now this, you'll see there's a crease right. That's on the bag, not on the comic. Okay. Yeah. So I used to have this, but I don't have it, but now I do have it again. This is like at least probably easily a 9.4. So, and I feel like I got a really good deal on it. And just to prove all you guys out there, I don't always buy slabbed books. And this is a perfect example. So this, of course, is the Chris Claremont, Frank Miller Wolverine miniseries #1 from, what was this, 1984 or something. But I've been meaning to pick this up. And this guy had like he had 4 or 5 copies of it that he had bought, and apparently from some other collection that he'd purchased, and had them up for sale. And so I went through and picked the one that I thought was in the nicest shape and picked it up. So there you go. Yeah. All right. But that's not all I got. Some of you may or may not be aware of this great Dave Stevens cover on Johnny Quest #3 from Kamiko. Some people say Comico. I thought it was Kamiko, but I don't know. Is it Comico or Kamiko? I have this now, and I also have the Jade cover that he did, that Dave Stevens did. This, of course, doesn't have a chick on it, but it has Race Bannon, and Race Bannon's cool. So yeah, so this was a Dave Stevens cover. A guy was asking $25 for it, and I said, "Will you take 20?" He said, "Sure." So I got it for 20. There was one on eBay for 15, but after I paid after I paid shipping, it would have been the same thing. So of course, Dave Stevens didn't do the interiors; he just did the cover, and so that's why I picked it up. Stippling Vaughn doesn't like the Wolverine miniseries. It's not a matter of liking it. It's a matter of realizing the importance of it, and of me being a collector. It's like, I kind of need this. No, I don't have the rest of the miniseries yet, but I will. I'll get it. But this is the one that's, costs the most money, so I get it out of the way first, and you can add the ones. You always go to a show. At least I always go to a comic book show with the intent of buying at least something. And so you start looking for your big ticket items. And if you can't find what you're looking for in the condition you want, the price you want, then you start moving down the list. And eventually you come across, say, something like this that you want to get. It's not a priority, but you want to get it. And you're, gosh darn it, I'm at a show. I'm going home with something. And so I picked it up. And same with the Johnny Quest. So not a big layout of cash, but, enough to feel like it was worth going to the show. So if you're in Oregon or in Washington, keep your eye on the Mid-Valley Comic Art Expo. It seems to be growing and picking up some steam. I would bet another 3 to 5 years, it's going to be a pretty nice, big 2-day show. So I had the whole series when it came out, but I made a trade in probably 84, shortly after that came out, where I ended up like trading half of my collection for a Spider-Man #2. And so I mean, like all my Neil Adams stuff, everything. And so I spent the last 35 years buying it back. And so well, I didn't get rid of all my, I mean, right now, all I collect is pre 1980. I know that's post 1980. There's a few exceptions, but pre 1980 books. So Bronze Age stuff from the 70s, and Silver Age from the 60s, and Golden Age stuff when I can get my hands on something that I want that I can actually afford. But I don't really buy anything post 1980, with the very rare exception of something like that, or the Dave Stevens stuff, who obviously worked in the 80s. But what that enabled me to do was clear up some space, because I had a ton of books, and now I have about 1,500 is all, when I had probably 4,000 to 5,000 at one point. So there you go. You know who I run into all the time at comic book shows buying comics? Don Rosa, who's a Disney artist, comic book artist, Scrooge McDuck and all that kind of stuff. And funny thing is, he sold a bunch of his collection. Now, see, he went more hardcore than I did. He sold everything. I think he collects anything like pre-1960 or 1970, I mean. So I think he sold all of his 70s stuff, because I bought a couple of his books from his collection from somebody else. And but I run into him not all the time, but infrequently. But I do run into him at cons, going through boxes, buying stuff. So Agent Cub's like 1,500. You got to bump up those numbers. All I buy now, for the most part, I shouldn't say all, because clearly those books are, not huge expenditures, but I buy big ticket books, and so I only buy a couple a year. So it's a big ticket for me, meaning $3,000 or less. Between $500 and $3,000 per book is kind of what stuff I'm looking at these days. And so I only get, like, depending, a few books a year. So I'm not just like going to a convention and coming home with 50 comics. I'm going to a convention and maybe coming home with 1 or 2. So my numbers are growing very slowly, but the quality, baby, is there. And Wizard Sleeve says, "Happy Easter to the Lopresti family, and God bless." Same to the chat and CG. Thank you, Wizard Sleeves. Appreciate that very much. All right, let's take a look at some of my artwork, because that's what John Beatty's here for. He wants to see what I have to offer. And I will not disappoint. Well, I might disappoint. I hate to be a liar, especially on Easter, but I'm lying. It's not out of my flat files. These are so new. They haven't even made it to the flat files yet. But I got some works in progress. I got a couple things done. Let's take a look. I'm going to switch cameras and pray that it doesn't explode. Yeah. Yay, didn't explode. Okay, so if you were watching Graybeard's Wednesday, we did Batman Family, and I did Batgirl Stepping on Penguin. And I started coloring it. But as you can see, I didn't get very far. But I did wanted to show you that that I'm actually working on coloring. So right now the hair is marker. and her skin tone is, in her face is colored pencil. And I'll probably do this whole thing in marker and colored pencil, which is a standard approach for me. Now, I do draw quite a bit. Even when I'm not working on Wraith of God, I'm drawing something. So I've got this blue line figure here. This actually started as a piece on when we did Teen Titans on Graybeard Studio. I started doing Wonder Girl, and then I changed my mind and because I didn't like the figure. So I went back and I've been messing with this figure, and I finally got a nice figure. You know, I really like how this looks, but I'm not sure who it's going to be at this point. It could be any superhero girl, and I don't know. I could make it Wonder Woman. I've done so many Wonder Womans though, so I don't know. I kind of like the hair. I kind of got that like that Frazetta gloopiness going on in the hair. I kind of like. So anyway, this will evolve into something soon, I think. Oh, John, it's a full-time gig. But see, most people they'll draw their comic. You know, they work on their pages during the day, and then maybe at night after dinner they'll watch a movie. I just draw more stuff at night. So so I don't know what this is going to become, but there you go. The foundation is strong with this one. All right. So, and then I also this is Judge Dredd, and I've never drawn Judge Dredd before, and I think I'm going to paint this. This paper though is not very heavy, but I might go in here with acrylics and paint this. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that. But that's, you know, that's the drawing, such as it is, for Judge Dredd. Now, this I'm going to color. This will be colored pencils and markers. This is going to be Poison Ivy. So these are the fun things that I do when I should be sleeping. In fact, I think most of this stuff occurred after 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to bed, and then I start drawing something, and suddenly it's 1 a.m. and I'm like, ugh. Let's see, what else did I do? These are my latest two. I just finished that Hulk last night. Now that's all marker. And then I did a couple days ago, I did the Joker while I was talking to David Williams on the phone. I was just messing around. So, but I will never miss an opportunity to draw the Hulk or the Thing. They're like the superhero monsters. So anyway. So this is a combination of two different greens and warm grays in there. On the Joker, it's cool grays on his face, and then of course green Copic in his hair, and so that, yeah. And I think that's probably about it. But as I went through, I'll do this anyway. As I went through my like sketches, and a lot of these are Graybeard, but not all of them. I noticed that, like, except for the first three here, right? This is an acrylic painting. Like, how many monsters do I have in this portfolio? 1, 2. Okay, no monsters there. Grinch could be technically a monster. 3, 4. That's superhero stuff there. 5, 6, 7. I ended up being like 70% of my portfolio is like monsters and creepy, weird people. There's Santa. Santa's always nice. There's the Grinch smoking. More monsters, Krampus, Man-Thing. I guess a leprechaun's not really a monster, but he is kind of weird. You got a dragon in here, although you've got your Weird World characters here from Marvel. Then we got more monsters smoking. And then these guys. So I thought, maybe I should do something that isn't a monster just once in a while, so people flipping through my portfolio might, have a little bit of a selection. So try and do stuff that maybe is a little bit better variety. But anyway, that's the stuff that I do in my spare time. I know I have to admit it, John, but I do have a thing about Man-Thing. Clipped. No, they're not correct. I haven't priced them yet. There's I know there's some that say like $40 and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that. And I'm like, no, it's not that cheap. I don't smoke. I don't. I just, this is the cigarette that I used on the professionals. I actually made this. I was going to go buy a pack of cigarettes, but they were too expensive. And I was like, I'm not, so I rolled up paper, I made the white thing here and taped it. And then I used Band-Aids on this. And when you get far enough away from it, you can't really tell. Well, it looks like a cigarette. I should have been a special effects guy. Shadow Cataclysm, but how can we get them? All you have to do is email me. There's nothing in that portfolio that's over $250 that I just flipped through. With the paintings are, but the black and white stuff, none of it's over $250, and it ranges between $150 to $250 depending. So just Aaron at aaronlopresti.com. And if you saw something in there you wanted to buy or would like to find out how much it costs, or there we go. Aaron at aaronlopresti.com. Okay. Just let the little scroller roll in there. It was a fresh Band-Aid, actually. Bait and switch. Well, yeah, I guess. No, when this goes to, you see, I just throw stuff in my portfolio. This used to have like roughs in it, layouts. And so the prices are just, some of them are accurate. Like if you wanted that Count Chocula, it's got $300 on it, and that's what you got to pay for. That's a painting, for crying out loud. It took me forever to do that. The Grinch, it's $150. That's not bad for a nice color Grinch portrait. Beatty charges way more than this, I'm sure. Kit Carter's $200. Pogo's just $150. Some of these are accurate, but some of them aren't. I think I'm asking for that Hulk. Like that Hulk says $40, but it's $150. That Hulk would be. It's it's reasonable. So anyway, yeah. Saw anything in here you're interested in, just email me and let me know, and I'll tell you. Let's see. John, if you take the stickers off, a lot of times depending on how gummy the sticker is, you can ruin your page. So I put stickers over the top, or I cross out on the sticker and rewrite until there's no more room on it. It's really professional looking. So if someone, no, I could draw Mandy. No, there's only one proper take, and that's the Aaron Lopresti take on Kit Carter. Okay. That's funny. If you, Headless Bourgeoisie says, if you smoke that, you probably catch a nice buzz. That was the other thing. If I had a real cigarette, and even if I didn't light it, and I was sucking on that nicotine the whole time, I'd get a headache and probably be sick by the end of the show. So that was the other reason I didn't do a real cigarette. Okay. So now it's time to look at our good friend. And when I say our good friend, I don't know him at all. I know nothing about him. We want to take a look at some of Nick Cardy's work. All righty. Let's see what we got. These aren't necessarily in any order of how much, that I like them, or what are just some examples of his work. Some of my favorite pieces are in here of his, but not all the great ones. Your mileage will vary. Let's all get together and share the secrets of girls' love, shall we? Nick Cardy did quite a bit of romance. And the reason I like this is I like anything with a big figure in it. I think that's the best way to catch someone's attention for a cover. And when you have a big figure of a girl, now you really got a winning combination. So you're a groovy girl, Nan, not a doormat like Trina. Doormat for love, baby. Woo! I'll tell you right now, Trina doesn't look like a doormat to me, but maybe she is. And I would be there to pick up the pieces for Trina, that situation. I would be the guy walking over and go, Trina, why are you crying? Here, let me help you. So anyway, there's a little Nick Cardy fun right there. Well, she's not actually on the ground. She's on a little garden stone stool here. You can't see it because of my scroll down at the bottom. But she's sitting on one of those little park stone stools. But she's still a doormat, so what are you going to do? This is kind of a fun one here. I think actually Graham brought this on. We were doing Nick Cardy covers on the Professionals many moons ago, but look at those angry Injuns there with their guns out, and old Bat Lash hiding behind the gravestone there. Again, nice, strong, central focused image. I think this is a good cover. I think this is a cover. If I was into Westerns, this would make me want to pick this up. This is true right here. Jiminy Cricket's got it. He goes, Nick Cardy was a graphic design master. He really was. His design work is amazing. He was doing like he didn't get the attention that Neil Adams did, but he was doing like some really cool designs like this one. Is this my foe? Look at how he works the title lettering into it. I just think that's really, really cool. Now, if you're Black Manta here, you don't want to trip and fall on one of those pointy rocks that say Aquaman. That would might hurt. But another really cool design. And I think it's cool that they allowed him to mess with the logo and do that. Because obviously, not only do you have the logo, it's not the standard Aquaman logo, but it's at the bottom of the page, right? So if this is sitting in a rack, you're not even going to see the logo, but you are going to see part of Black Manta holding up Aquaman and go, So I dig this cover a lot. Nice lighting effect here too. Underlighting. Very well designed. I didn't say I wasn't into Westerns. I said if I was into Westerns, meaning just a general fan being into Westerns, this would be the kind of book that I would get. That's what I'm trying to say. Now this one, my bigger question here is, what is this girl doing? Look at this town. It's like destroyed. It's like, is this like a World War II town in Europe? And she's just, I mean, what is going on here? And why is she out there by herself? But I love the cover because you got this lone figure here and kind of surrounded by these dark, gloomy, atmospheric buildings, alleyway here, and then the dude's hand right there, right? And the fact they let us know that now this is now monthly. You can get this every month. I love this old witch too that they used in the as the host of the book. Wrightson had some stories in these the older issues of Witching Hour. I think number 3 has a Wrightson story in it. I can't remember, but they're not peak Wrightson. They're sort of like when they were evolving Wrightson, so they're not as much interest to me as his post 1972 work. I still think it's a really well designed cover, although I don't know what's going on back here with these buildings. Again, I never said I wasn't into Westerns. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now look at this. This is when his Teen Titan covers were really quite good. Look at the design here. Again, messing with the logo, making it part of the art. When DC was doing a lot of, oh, Superman got fat, or Lois Lane got fat, or look, Flash's head got really big, and Marvel was just kicking butt with really cool covers and stories. You've got Nick Cardy over doing stuff like this that makes you go, oh, wait, maybe I'll pick this up. Look at those guys with the green faces and their purple outfits coming out of the book, grabbing Wonder Girl. It's a cool design. This is one of my favorites of his. Do You Dare Enter the House of Mystery? I don't think I have this cover. I should get this cover. I think it's kind of funny. Closed. No one dies today. It's like the Grim Reaper's like, dude, I'm on vacation. I'm not up for it today. That seems like that would be an encouraging story, not a scary story. It's like, oh, the Grim Reaper is not killing anybody today. You're like, oh, okay. That should be a romance comic, shouldn't it? It shouldn't be a horror comic. But I think that's a pretty cool cover. Speaking of jacked up perspective, I think we got a little bit of jacked up perspective going on there. Oh my gosh. All right. I've had it. That's it. I try to be nice to people, but okay. Sorry, John, but all righty. What else we got here? Oh, this is one of my favorite Teen Titan covers. It's not my most favorite. We'll get to that in a minute, but this is a pretty cool one too. Quit, Robin. Quit. Requiem for a Titan. Kind of makes me want to go back and read these books, but I got a feeling like the stories aren't as good as the covers. Maybe I'm wrong. Look at those color holds in the background. Nice shadow effect on Robin. These are really dramatic. These are really good covers. I wasn't buying comics in the 12-cent days. That would have been 68 probably. I was only 4 years old, so I missed all this good stuff. Or I might have bought them. There's another groovy Aquaman cover. Bring back the 60s, baby. That's really interesting. He made just by using, lighter line work, because it's still inked. I thought maybe that was pencil at first, but it's not. It's inked, to make that ghostly face of Aquaman's girlfriend, who I can't remember her name. But anyway, this is really nice. So you got your big face right here. Then this kind of her hair going down here, which he's grabbing onto, and then there's little Aqua Lad or whatever his name is. This is another really interesting, well-designed cover. Help me, save me, please. Okay. Now we're getting kind of into my top 3 or so. I love this one. And I love how they have the girl in a rainstorm, apparently. Yeah. Running down the old cobbled stone streets of who knows where with her baskets of posies falling onto the ground, screaming, "It's 12 o'clock, the witching hour." Why is she out picking flowers at midnight? But I love this old witch just hiding around the corner here. And this is a great cover. Really like it. Probably could have made this logo a little smaller, but again, nice job of incorporating that into the artwork with the word balloon thing here. Well, John, it's midnight. That'd be 12. That's AM, right? Yeah. It's not lunchtime for sure. I love that old witch there in the foreground. Really good design. You have this big element here, but it's really darker. The witch is darker, so your focus again is right here, getting a little light from the street light on her face. I love how the street light's kind of bent. Look at the texture back here too, and in the stones and stuff. Really nice. I had forgotten that Cardy did this one. So I do have a run of the Spectre. Now, Neil Adams did Murphy Anderson did the cover to 1. Neil Adams did the covers to 2, 3, 4, and 5. I don't think he did 6. And Wrightson's in there at number 9, I think. What issue is this? Number 8. This is a nice Nick Cardy. That's a cool cover. Big close-up, finger pointing at you. Do you dare look into the eyes of the Spectre? I dare. This is another must-buy kind of book. And I like I said, I never bought DC books, but if I'd seen this on the stands, I would have bought it because it was spooky and had a great cover. Pork Hunt says, what was the first comic that turned you into monsters horror? Wrightson's Swamp Thing, probably. Well, monster movies turned me onto, I should say, I'm not a horror fan. I'm a fan of monsters. And I think there's a difference, like Hellraiser and stuff like that. I have no interest in those movies, but any movie with a cool monster, I like. So Universal monster movies, I was a fan when I was a kid. And then, so I bought like Frankenstein and I think I bought a Frankenstein comic book way back in 1973. It was the first book I ever bought, Frankenstein #7. But then someone turned me on to Wrights and Swamp Thing and said, you got to check this out. And so I went and bought it retroactively. Like it was already been out a year or two. And so I started reading that. And then I started finding Creepy Magazine, things like that. So I always liked monsters anyway, but it was kind of Wrightson's work and Plug's work on Man-Thing that really sort of turned me on to monster comics. John's working overtime in the chat. Okay, and then finally, my favorite all-time Nick Cardy covers right here. I love how Wonder Girl's always being menaced or she's knocked out or something. She's not much help. This is cool. I kind of liked the what DC was doing when they used to run the little characters along the side here for a brief period of time. This is probably about the same time as Marvel was doing their square letterbox things on the covers, 1972-ish, I'm sure. 20 cents makes sense. That would have been about right. But this is, I don't know. I just like the big, monster thing, and they're on a raft heading right towards it. Another really well-designed cover. These are the kind of things, when you put stuff like this on a cover of a comic, people want to buy it. And that was kind of the whole object of doing covers. That seems to be a lost art form now. Maybe because there's not as much competition. Maybe because, there are people that are buying comics now are people that are addicted to buying comics. So you still do a nice cover for sure, but I don't know that cover designs anymore are a lot of times they're about how well people draw stuff, but not what they're drawing and how they're designing it and all that kind of stuff. But these were definitely designed to get you to pick them up and read them. And just they drug her up. Only wake her up when they really need her. Okay. So anyway, those are there's a couple other Aquaman covers that Nick Cardy did that are really, really cool that I didn't get on here because I had like 13 or something. I'm like, that's enough. But certainly a guy that doesn't get the notoriety outside of those in the know for his cover work and his design work on his covers. So there you go. Nick Cardy, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Cardy. All right. So we're closing in on the 2-hour mark, which generally means it's time for the unexplained. It's time for... In case you didn't know, that's a Ken Kelly painting. Ken Kelly's no longer with us. I got to meet Ken at a show in Northern California, one of the super cons, I believe. And I told this story before. We had a very strange exchange. We were at Steve Morger, who is a attorney who sponsored these shows, co-sponsored these shows with Steve Wyatt. And we were over at his house having dinner like the night before the show or something, and Ken Kelly was there. And I think someone asked me about my name. Where did my name come from? And I said, well, it's biblical. Moses' brother was named Aaron in the Bible. And Ken Kelly goes, who's Moses? And I went, are you kidding me? 10 Commandments, Moses? Haven't you ever watched the 10 Commandments? Didn't you ever go to Sunday school? And he's like, no. And so it was the weirdest thing that you take certain things that people might have general knowledge of, and he was like, had no idea what I was talking about. So. But anyway, he's a good guy, and but no longer with us. Is he? Well, I know I know that they were buddies. I didn't know that he was managing Frank, but Frank's a good guy. Frank cracks me up. But he always comes by and says hi when we're at shows. So I always appreciate that. Daryl Wayne, did you seriously name your son Joshua Aaron? Because that is my son's name, is Joshua Aaron Lopresti. That is my son's name. I'm not kidding. Wow, small world. How about that? I know it's crazy, but it's true. Okay. Here we go. Where are we going to start today? There was some really crappy ones, and I had them in here, and then I found some better ones later. So I dumped the crappy ones because I didn't want to insult your intelligence too much. But here we go. Is this the Wisconsin Dogman? You tell me. So this is a trail cam photo, allegedly. It's in focus, so I'll give him that. But I'm trying to decide if this was a costume or if it's like just completely computer generated. I like how he was kind enough, this Dogman was kind enough to give us a shot of the back of his head. So we got the front and then he showed the back. So I thought it was nice. Considerate of him, certainly, especially if you're doing a turnaround, for like animation or something, you would need like to see the back of him as well as the Darren Wagner says, it's too cute to be a dog man. I don't know. I think that maybe going in too close is not the best idea because then we start to see that it sort of falls apart. Well, Jerry Roscoe says, that's some amazing dental work. Whitest teeth I've ever seen. Kellraiser sees that too. Birch trees, Canada. We used to have birch trees in Oregon. I mean, there are birch trees in Oregon. We used to have some in our yard. We used to go and peel the white bark off just to be annoying. Zippers on the side, not on front and back. Those are pretty white teeth. I'm not sure if I'm buying the gums either right in here. I'm leaning towards costume. But, something to think about. All right, this one, what do we call this one? Quick Bigfoot. This is quick, which most of them are, but we'll take a look at this. We'll kind of go through this. I'll let it run at regular speed, then we will slow it down. So here he is right here. And then he's gone. And then this is a different one. But we already saw this one. That's why I cut this one. That's the Bigfoot throwing rocks at the guy with the camera. But I had never seen this one before. There's not much here. We'll run through here regular speed again. Is that just a dude like in a black skin tight costume thing? Look how skinny his legs are. Doesn't seem very Bigfootish to me. Do, 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 do. I mean, the head is jutting out from the shoulders, which makes it seem kind of creepy and not, human. But I kind of feel like maybe he's got a bit of a beer gut going here. But see, right here's his shoulders and his neck comes like that. So they might have, it could be, they put some padding back there in the costume. I don't buy this as Bigfoot. I just don't. I want better proof. But, maybe you differ. Maybe you think this is legit. A silent spirit says, why is he walking like a cartoon character trying to be sneaky? Like he's sneaking around. Yeah, you could put like some Warner Brothers music to this and it'd probably work pretty well. Same guy, some guy in a ninja suit. Pity Ma finally got hardcover of Wonder Woman Conan. Now all I have to do is meet you and to get it signed. Pity Ma, are you in Washington? Because hopefully I'll be at the SummerCon this year, but I can't guarantee it because I don't know if they'll have me or not. The other thing I always question about stuff like this is why are we cutting right here? Okay, you've got a picture of this dude walking. Why am I not kind of stepping over here to film more? Why am I cutting after like 3 seconds? Seems very fishy to me. All right. All right. Now, what do you think of this? This is some guy's backyard camera. Appears to be snowing out or was snowing out. So we're looking right back here. Yeah, it's snowing for sure. Okay. Here we go. Right. What is going on here? It appears to be some sort of creature walking with his 2 long forearms or 2 long arms and 2 short legs or something. Or a guy on his knees with a hoodie on and like cardboard poster tubes on his arms. I mean, it could be that. But I give the guy credit. I mean, he's doing the long walk, right? He's doing the long, I mean, all the way off the camera. So it's not like they cut early. And there's the guy I stole the video from, Maxwell Fear. So go to his channel and look up, watch his cryptid videos. I'm giving you Max. I'm giving you a little promo there since I'm stealing your videos. Actually, these are videos you stole from somebody else, so I don't feel too guilty about it. Let's take a look again here. In faster speed. Do, 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 do. Woo! It's like Buster Keaton. Woo! Hulk Smash says, why can't you just believe, Aaron? Oh, David Williams is here. Rejoice, he has risen. Happy Resurrection Sunday, one and all. Much love to Aaron, Lopresti family, and to the mighty chat as well. There's old. You think this guy gets chicks? I don't know. He's young. He's young and he's hip. So I don't know. I think you know what I think about this, but I give him credit for walking all that way in the snow. God. They have them in California. They have what? It's a creeper. Was that what it is? Now I've heard skinwalker, I've heard rake, and now a creeper. Okay. I know the name, Michael Heiser. I know that name. I'll check it out. Refamiliarize myself with him. Darren Wagner breaking it down for us. He doesn't seem to have a mid-tarsal break either. Leads me to think it's just a dude in a suit. That's what I'm thinking. Wizard Sleeves, got to go take care of the grill. Thanks for sharing great art insights, bud. Happy Easter and God bless everyone. Thank you, Wizard Sleeves, for joining us. Katie did. Happy Easter, Aaron. Thank you, Katie. Don't feel bad about misspelling my name. That's all right. It's okay. I know it's the thought that counts, and I appreciate it. Not a creeper, but a night crawler. They're different. It's a night crawler, says Kel Razor. Corum says no. It's some poor guy with a broken leg and crutches. Okay. Okay, Katie's now, it was a typo. Okay, I just want to make sure you weren't dissing me on purpose, Katie. This isn't Graybeard, you know. I expect you to be nice to me here. But thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, speaking of birch trees, let's take another look at another birch tree Bigfoot. Okay. There he goes, strolling along. Now, at least this one is kind of big. He's not a skinny guy in like a skin tight suit. This is another one we already looked at before. Sorry about this. This is the one I want to look at. This is the one I have not seen before. And I like how the camera guy does a wipe with the birch tree in the foreground right here. It's almost Hitchcockian. Now, this may be nothing, but one thing I notice in all these videos is the Bigfoots are almost always walking side to side, like north-south. They're never walking towards camera. They're always walking sideways. Just coincidence? I think not. Beatty wants to know if I'm that big. I may be that tall, but I'm not that wide. I agree. See, the problem is with these guys, they get these suits on and they just walk around like they're going to, you know, the store to pick up a gallon of milk. They don't give us any performance art. There's no, hey, look at me, I'm a monkey guy in the woods. It's just I'm just walking along. Just come on, man. Kevin Thomas. I'm back from spending time with the family. Now time for Comic Family. Hail all and a happy Easter. Thank you. You too. Are you saying that's how Saquon Barkley runs? I think he runs a little faster than this, John. I don't know what the point you're trying to make there. I like the head, though. He's got a pointy kind of monkey head here. I assume this is his face, right? But then he's got the big old beer gut here. I would like to see him, you know, creeping around a little bit more. I mean, he does put his arm out here and grab one of the trees, which that's kind of nice there at the end. But I need, I don't know. And of course, it's not in focus, which, you know, we've come to know and appreciate in all of these great Bigfoot videos. All right, here we go. Here's kind of a fresh one here. Now, this is allegedly from the back of a train. And I don't know, is there just cameras hooked up to the cabooses of trains? I don't think there are. Maybe there are. But let's see. So we're looking right here. Right here's Bigfoot, allegedly. Now, whenever there's a Bigfoot video comes out of any sort of interesting quality, there's a couple of special effects guys that review them. And of course, they always shred them to pieces. Basically, they say, oh, that's a dude in a suit. That's a dude in a suit. Oh, that's a dude in a suit. Because as we mentioned earlier, They walk like a dude in a suit instead of walking like perhaps something humanoid but not human might walk. Again, what we're looking for here is performance, and I'm not getting it. From a distance and kind of fuzzy, it looks like they got a little bit of a costume going there. That's not bad. I like the fact that he's walking across the train tracks. Now, why there's a camera set up right here. Look how low to the ground this camera shot is. There's some great train track perspective here. But I don't believe that this is the camera attached to the back of a caboose of a train. I think it's this guy. Okay, here we go. Here's my scenario. This dude set this camera up and took a picture of himself walking like this. Maybe he's got a buddy operating the camera. Maybe. But it's clearly a stationary camera, right? And if the train is stationary, why is it stationary in the middle of the woods? And then secondly, why is the camera rolling if the train isn't even doing anything? I mean, I don't know if that's a thing, that they have cameras on the back of these trains. And if they did, why wouldn't they be mounted up higher? They wouldn't be at the, at wheel level. This is more of a attempt to getting a cinematic shot, which clearly means it was staged. See how I scientifically break this down? But at the same time, I kind of like it. I just wish we could get a little bit more performance out of our Bigfoot here. Wouldn't he stop and look at the railroad tracks and go, what is this? What is this strange thing I see before me? But now he just walks over like he's seen it a million times. Maybe he has. He's walked it a few times, It's Bigfoot. He lives out there. He must be used to trains, maybe. I don't know. It's like those deers. You go to a campground and deer come up to you and they expect to be fed because they're used to the humans being around. Maybe he's used to the train tracks. And I always love it when they do it in slow-mo. Like, okay, now let's watch this blurry film in slow motion. Like we're going to get more out of it. They like zoom in. It's already blurry. So it's even now more blurry. And then they do it in slow motion. Like, dude, come on. Someday, you guys, I'm going to do my own Bigfoot video and you're going to go, that's the freaking most awesome Bigfoot video I've ever seen. And I will get tons of people that'll believe it's real. But you guys that watch this show will know that it's just one big troll. All right, there you go. That is your that's your Bigfoot fix for this week on this Easter Sunday. I want to thank everybody for joining me, and I want to encourage you to hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Also, check out my campaign, Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow. You'll find a link in the description of this video. Take you right there. Also, go to my website where you can find back issues, prints, original art, merchandise, all sorts of good stuff. Or if you just want to look around, you can go there and look. It's AaronLopresti.com. You'll find a link in the description of this video. Also, anybody that saw the original art that I was flipping through the old portfolio here and you said, I saw something here that might be of interest to me, email me. We'll talk about it. Everything's for sale. That's just how I roll. I will not be here next week, folks. I am heading to Phoenix. So there will be, you won't see me on Kings. You won't see me on the Professionals. There will be no Graybeard Studio. And I won't be here for the Sunday show because I'm not getting back till next Monday. So an entire week off, a week free of Aaron. It's kind of sad when you think about it, but that's just how it's got to be. Finally got my last kid through college, and now I can start spending money on more comic books because that's what any responsible adult would do. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for the super chats. And thank you guys for the conversation in the chat. Couldn't do it without you. We want to thank superstar, legendary anchor John Beatty for amusing us in the chat, even though he won't come on Graybeard Studio, although he's been invited 100 times. But anyway, I want to thank him for being here. And I want to thank Katie Did for misspelling my name, and everybody else for joining me. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Easter weekend, and I'll see you like in a week. Take care, everybody. Good night.